If you need any Xbox or PlayStation codes or any cheap PC games, use the referral link in the description. It will take you over to g2a.com. They already have a discount on most of their goods, and if you use the code CHES at checkout, you can get yourself an extra 3% off as well. Hey guys, how's it going? Ches back again, and welcome to episode number 9 of the Valencia career mode here on FIFA 16. We start with a home game against Malaga today, a side that in recent years have been half decent when they had an influx of money. They were in the Champions League obviously 5 or 6 years ago, but they've kind of dropped off the radar in the past few years. 3 or 4 or so, with the lack of finances falling away. So we'll hope to get a decent victory against them here. They're sat 14th in the league. We find ourselves up in the top 4. So theoretically, with the form that we've been in so far this season and the form that they've been in so far this season, this game at home, albeit in the rain, with everybody getting wet because there's no roof at the Mestalla, it should be a simple fixture. So we'll try our best to get a decent result. They've got Amrabat up top, who's been used as a striker this year rather than a winger. Does have the ability to score a few goals. He's obviously extremely fast and is an all-round decent player. Can play out wide or up top, similar to Rodrigo, who's creating this chance here for Thiago to have a shot, and Carlos Kamini makes a very good save to his left-hand side. Decent goalkeeper as well, Kamini, actually. Very good reflexes and diving. Not necessarily the best of handling or positioning, but when it comes to one-on-one type saves or reaction type saves, there aren't many better in La Liga, to be honest. Malaga, though, are on the attack here. We mentioned Amrabat can score goals. He's completely annihilated Mustafi there and won a very good header to power them in front. He just, what's his movement? That was the main thing that caught me with this. He goes to the left-hand side of the defender and then right at the last minute cuts across the back of the defender and runs in front of him. And Mustafi can't see that because Amrabat is behind him. He should ideally be positioned the other way around where the defender can see the attacker and the ball, but he couldn't see the run that Amrabat was making. Got completely blindsided by a very good attacking run, and we find ourselves 1-0 down. Continuing though to be on the attack. Malaga not really had any other chances other than that so far. Somehow that manages to stay out and rolls off the top of the bar and out for another corner, which nothing came from, but we are going to get one more chance before the end of the first half. Danny Parejo is well marked here by even Amrabat pushing. They're pushing all the men back in very defensive shape here, but Paco Alcacer is drawing another good save out of Carlos Kamini, which a corner will come from, but unfortunately, again, nothing too much will come from it. So we have a free kick here in the second half. Time to try and push things forward in the second period of play. We made a couple of changes as well throughout this half to try and freshen things up a little bit. Thiago's on the ball here though. Nice feet to get past the initial defender. Thought about passing it off, but in the end went for the shot instead. Well saved by Kamini. We can't get the ball into the back of the net at the second or third attempts with a header, and then Andre Gomez loses out to the defender. 15 minutes left to go though. Paco Alcacer's on the ball, out to Thiago again. He's been very instrumental in that cam roll since we've switched formations. Going to have the chance here as he grabs onto the ball ahead of the defender, but Kamini again makes another very, very good save. So we lose 1-0 at home to Malaga, which is completely against the run of play, and it's a real smash and grab from them. You can see here they had one shot all game, and that was the one that won the fixture for them. Possession was split 50-50. We dominated the chances though, just couldn't find a way past a very good in-form goalkeeper. So unfortunately we take our second defeat from league football so far this year, and we'll try and hopefully bounce back from that in the next game. Growth all round though in the squad when it comes to the training. Paco Alcacer and João Cancelo both going up 1, so we're pleased with that. The side has just been growing really nicely regardless of the stuff that's been going on the training ground, to be honest. We come into the Champions League though for the next game. We've had an indifferent time of things so far in the Champions League. We lost obviously to PSV in the opening game 1-0, and then went to the Etihad and beat Manchester City 1-0. So after 2 games, everybody in the group, as Lazio beat PSV, is sat on 3 points. So this is rather an important game. Whoever gets the better of the opposition in this round of fixtures, in the third round of fixtures, could really stamp their authority on the group. If we beat Lazio, or if Lazio beat us, if PSV beat Man City, or if Man City beat PSV, then you would really consider the 2 winning sides there in both of these fixtures to be the front runners for the rest of the group stage. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. You've got Felipe Anderson. It's a very tight 4-2-3-1, very narrow 4-2-3-1. I personally would have played Felipe Anderson a little bit further wide than they particularly are with this formation. We'll have to wait and see if that causes them any problems. We are actually going to take the lead here with a very good shot from the edge of the box from Danilo. He's a CDM, he's very young as well, only 19/20 years of age. I'm not sure whether he's actually had his birthday since the start of this series, but he's been so good for us in that rotation role. I think we've got such great squad depth as Candreva fires a shot wide. We've had players in the wide positions like Rodrigo de Paul and Pablo Piatti really stake a place for, or stake their claim for a place in the first team, with Rodrigo not really firing since pre-season and Faguli being indifferent all season long. And then in the central midfield roles, I've preferred Danny Parejo and Andre Gomez, but Enzo Perez has been scoring goals left, right and centre, and now Danilo is putting in a shout to be part of the first team picture as well. So I'm really torn when it comes to actually selecting my team sheet right now. Everybody in the variety of different positions seems to be playing very well indeed. We clearly played well against Malaga, just weren't able to get the victory. We're on top here in this game against Lazio, although they are having another chance here just before the hour mark in the second half. Parolo, great feat to get away from the defender, gets it into Felipe Anderson, stands it up to the back post where Mauri with a header comes very close to getting that underneath the bar and giving Lazio an equaliser. He wasn't quite able to do so, though both sides have been knocking on the door since the first goal went in, trying to look for a second in the game. If we get the goal to go 2-0 up, then you'd probably say we'll win the tie. If they get one back, then you're not really too sure which way the tie would go, but it is ourselves that get the goal to go 2 goals in front. 2-0 is the scoreline after 60 minutes. They were immediately on the attack again, though. As you can see, Mauri in possession in our half. But we steal the ball off them and then go on a really nicely worked counter-attack. Javi Fuego here racing away. He's not the fastest, so decided to play it through to Alvaro Negredo before he gets offside. He too isn't the fastest, but he is quite strong, so he's able to hold off the defender and then with his decent left foot put the ball into the back of the net. So 2 goals in a 5-minute spell really put the game to bed as far as we were concerned. Lazio didn't really threaten then for the rest of the game, despite being on all-out attack. We caught them on the counter-attack again. Zachariah Bakali, this time racing away, and he finishes the chance as well. Lazio, in fairness to them, they went for the jugular, they just missed, and we ended up getting theirs instead. A 4-0 victory, accidentally skipped the end of game cutscene, but you can see here we had similar amount of chances to the game against Malaga. In fact, the same, I think. I think maybe we had less shots on target in the Malaga game. I think it was 7-4 rather than 7-6 as it was in that game, but still, 4 goals against Lazio, and that really puts us in the driving seat for the Champions League group now, not only points-wise, but head-to-head-wise as well. And we end the episode with what arguably could be the toughest game of our league season so far. We're playing Atletico Madrid away from home, playing a 4-3-3 formation, which isn't necessarily advised with the players that they've got in those wide roles. They've got Oscar, who they signed from Chelsea in the summer transfer window at right wing, and then Koke at left wing. Now, I know Koke can play out wide and is utilised out wide in real life by Atleti quite often, but I personally prefer Koke through the middle in a central role. But they're playing 4-3-3. I think it was Gabi, Saul and Thiago in their midfield 3, which is very solid. It is a very, very strong midfield 3. In fact, maybe even a midfield 5 you could class it as. Maybe you say it was a 4-5-1, well, it was an attacking 4-3-3 formation. But Oscar and Koke probably would be expected to track back. But Jan Oblak makes a very good save initially at the near post to keep Atleti in the game at 0-0. Jesus Gomez gets it across to Thiago here in the middle. They're trying to come through that central area, which they do through Saul, then get it out wide to Koke. Nice little 1-2 between those two actually, before Koke stands the ball up towards the back post. Brilliant header by Jackson Martinez. He's very strong in the air. We didn't quite get the hang of him in the stream series that we did with Atleti that didn't go up on YouTube, but well, unfortunately on the wrong end of a Jackson Martinez header that ended up going into the back of the net, so we're 1-0 down. Time though to continue our attacking threats and try and get ourselves an equaliser. Rodrigo stands the ball up into the box. How Thiago won that initial header against the defender, I've no idea. He's not that tall, Thiago, but not Paco. It was Danny Parejo was on hand to win the second header, free header. How has he won that header against the defender, Thiago? I've no idea, but it's what's very kindly to Danny Parejo. We are back on level terms at 1-1, so into the second half we go. Both sides looking for a win, really, to try and either Atleti pull away from us or ourselves to leapfrog Atleti in the league. Yannick Ferreira Carrasco came on as a substitute, and his cross there very nearly caught the goalkeeper out. It was headed in at the near post, needed to be battered away by Diego Alves, and we were fortunate that it fell to a defender and not to the awaiting striker. Sofian Faguli shows great feet to get past Felipe Luis. He's in the box, waiting for the man to pull back, which he does, Rodrigo de Paul, but he can't get the ball under control initially. His shot is well blocked by the defender. Hugo Meyer picks it up. He lays it across inside to Paco Alcacer. We're trying to find another opportunity. It is Rodrigo de Paul that has the chance, but it's straight at Jan Oblak. We get a 1-1 draw away from home against Atleti, which I'm happy with. but I would have preferred to get a victory against Malaga, in all fairness. We got a game in the Copa del Rey against Leganes in the next episode. Then it's a really busy week. We play on the weekend on the Saturday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Ridiculous. 4 games in a week for no good reason, as far as I can make out. So it's going to be a difficult episode next time around, managing the squad, and then we'll push into the next month where the second leg of the Copa del Rey round of 32 is played. This particular round of the Cup is stretched out over like 4 or 5 weeks. Just, I don't know why, to be completely honest. I don't know why they do things that way in La Liga, but that was actually our first defeat in the league against Malaga. It was our second defeat of this season, all told, considering we lost to PSV in the Champions League. We have a game in hand on some of the teams behind us, but it's very tight at the top, although Atleti and Barca do have games in hand on myself and Sevilla, but still, look at that, top 5 all within a point of each other, and then there's a bit of a gap to Celta and Real, 3 points behind ourselves as well, but they have a game in hand on Sociedad and Celta Vigo, so can get into the European spots, not necessarily the Champions League spots, although they might do if they, in fairness, win by 2 goals or more to beat our goal difference. But he's very tight at the top of La Liga and probably will continue to be so for the rest of the season. And that's going to be all for today's episode. Thank you very much for watching. There'll be a My Player tonight, of course, so check your sub boxes around about 8 o'clock for that. If you don't know what and when I upload, there is a schedule in the description of every single video, so make sure you check that. Drop this video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't already to make sure you don't miss out on any future content. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Check all the social media links that are on screen and in the description, and I'll see you next time.